Welcome. Thank you for having me, honored guests, distinguished guests. I'm so pleased to be here at the very first Botswana Tourism Summit, Investment Summit. Now, we're having a ministerial panel, which I'm very excited about, and it's going to be a hybrid panel. So this is the first time I've done a hybrid panel, and I think it's excellent because we'll have three honorable guests in real life, and we'll also be joined virtually from different parts of the world, so we can include so many different voices, which is excellent. So let me introduce our panel's guests. So first up, a woman who, of course, needs no introduction, the Honourable Filda Nani Kareng, the Minister of Environment and Tourism in Botswana. Okay. I love that Botswanan call, that's brilliant. Thank you, Minister. We've also got the Honourable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism from Jamaica, who will be joining us virtually. I don't know if that comes up now or a bit later. We've also got the Honourable Vera Kumtukule, who is the Minister of Tourism in Malawi. I really hope I pronounced that correctly. She'll also be joining us virtually. We've got Liang Wang, the resident representative of the World Bank, and he joins us in real life. Thank you. We've got His Excellency Raki Phillips, the CEO of Ras Al Khaimah Tourism Development Authority, and he will also join us virtually. I see the infrastructure's there, so fingers crossed we get everyone. And last but not least, we've got Dr. Taleb Rafai, Chairman of the ITIC and Investment Tourism Limited. How's the technology going? Have we got the link-ups? I must say, this is my first time in Botswana, and I've been very impressed. Thank you, Minister. It was fantastic. I've just got back from the Okavango Delta, and I had a wonderful time. I spent 2 days there, which was not long enough, obviously, so I will be back. Let's talk investment, and we will also, of course, I forgot that we also have another panelist that was due to join us, but it is European Parliament is in session, cannot stand in the way of that. So we are joined virtually, who sent us a video. We're joined by the Honourable Elena Kuntura, Member of European Parliament. She is sending us a video message, which is very important about Botswana.
It is a pleasure to be joining you at the Botswana Tourist Invest Summit. I would like to comment on the country's effort as a forward-thinking destination in sustainable tourism development, aiming for low-volume yet high-value tourism. Sustainability and resilience in tourism is the only way forward for all destinations, both the established but also the emerging. This is more evident today that we all must meet the global climate goals, but also overcome current parallel crises of high inflation and soaring prices in energy, goods and services that affect our economies and societies. As a member of the European Parliament and coordinator of my political group at the Transport and Tourism Committee, TRAN, I would like to share briefly my thoughts on the greater picture for Botswana and all states or areas that commit to a sustainable future. As many of you know, I had served Minister of Tourism in my country, Greece, in the period 2015-2019, when my country was going through its most harsh economic crisis. We introduced an innovative tourism policy, and we relaunched Greece in the global tourism market as 365-day destination, focusing on authenticity, diversity, and high quality. We did so by extending the summer season and enhancing winter tourism. We also introduced new, less known Greek destinations and developed new thematic tourism products in our global agreement with major tour operators. At the same time, we increased air connectivity with our traditional but also new European and long-haul markets of tourism of higher income that we opened with hundreds of new direct flights per month. And we attracted new investments, making Greece the best business opportunity in the Med and Europe in its dynamically growing tourism sector. Despite the adverse conditions we faced, we managed with our strategy to increase inbound tourism by 40% in 5 years, reaching 32 million tourists and more than 18 billion euros tourism revenue, and overall contribution to our economy from all the other sectors, 40 billion yearly. This impressive performance not only helped our economy and our country to exit the economic crisis, but also was commended by the UNWTO and WTTC and other global institutions as a success story, a showcase country for its best practices in tourism. By placing sustainable tourism growth at the heart of the strategy, we committed to long-term benefits for our economy, but also for our local communities that had access to new sources of income, new jobs, and better prospects for their well-being. This is exactly what we are doing right now in the European Union with our first ever European strategy for sustainable tourism, and I'm very proud I contribute with my experience to several European Parliament resolutions we vote in the past years that led the European Commission to present last year the European Agenda for Sustainable Tourism until 2030. The agenda has clear guidelines for member states in the context of our climate neutrality and sustainability goals, but also for economic and social progress. We also place emphasis on the green and digital transformation of the travel and tourism and the transport sector, and encourage investments for expanding the use of renewable energy. We promote the unique advantages of each country and its destination through diversified products such as ecotourism, health tourism, wellness, sports tourism, cultural tourism. And we invest in smart and sustainable cities and islands. Botswana has an enormous potential. The country's rich wildlife and biodiversity are valuable assets in shaping the tourism of the future. Conservation efforts along with sustainable tourism products are in full alignment with empowering local communities. The EU has been supporting Botswana in several fields and by various projects, including the tourism sector. From my experience and know-how in key areas that we are currently working on the EU, I would like to point out the importance of supporting the business environment and especially the small and medium-sized businesses as well as the workforce to be ready for the green and digital transformation. Also, tourism growth must go in hand with modern, safe, and resilient infrastructure capable to serve future needs. And last but not least, we need to be more open to cooperation, both in terms of public-private sector partnerships, but also between states. I have been a strong supporter myself of cooperation beyond national borders because tourism, by its nature, interconnects us all and is a catalyst for growth in all productive sectors and professions, including trade, energy, transportation, construction, food and beverage, entertainment, and other creative economies. Even more countries must cooperate closely, especially against crisis, because no country and no economy can by itself deal with the mega crisis of today and tomorrow. One of my proposals that was adopted in several resolutions in the European Parliament was the need to create a European crisis management mechanism to address all crises, including climate change, wildfires, floodings, excessive weather phenomena that we are already facing in Europe and elsewhere. Such mechanism applied in a broader regional level will help all countries, public and private sector, to exchange know-how and support in building more resilient destinations and more sustainable travel and tourism experiences. With these thoughts, I wish every success to the summit, and please know that I strongly support and encourage ideas and projects that help our countries, our economies, and societies to grow stronger and better. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much there to Elena Contura from the EU Parliament. She raised so many good issues there that we can all unwrap now in this panel discussion. You know, public-private partnerships, renewable energy. I see there's a lot of new eco-safari vehicles coming online now, which is great to see. And air connectivity is another big issue, I think, that we'll be discussing further in detail. But we will be joined at 12 o'clock on the dot by Fly Dubai, so that's another virtual attendee to join us then. So, but let's kick off and let's talk about geography, because Botswana, Minister Kareng, is in a strategic location in southern Africa. It borders 4 countries. How can this help us channel investment?
Botswana sits right at the heart of southern Africa. I don't know if this is
Okay. Technical support.
technical
Oh, there we
support.
go. Hello.
Maybe it's fine. Sitting right at the heart of southern Africa, in between South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and also in a conservation treaty with those four countries of Zimbabwe, Zambia, Namibia, and Angola. Is called the Zambezi Trans-Frontier Conservation Area. And this Kaza region manages the very fragile Chobe River and the wildlife that is abundant in that area. So already we have got this cooperation going around these 5 countries to conserve. And all of these countries are actually conserving and trading in the space of tourism from this resource, you know, the wildlife that you saw and all that. And it is important for us to ensure or to emphasize that we don't do tourism alone and think we can achieve that alone. So being at the heart of Southern Africa gives us opportunities to build a tourism product that can attract the investment that I think we are really gathered here to promote. First of all, where we are as Botswana is a place that is not easy to reach in terms of access or accessibility, whether by road, but mostly by air. I think you can agree with me that it wasn't easy reaching this place. You didn't take 1 flight, some didn't take 2 flights, some took up to 4 connections to arrive here. So the investment that we need first and foremost is to be able, once we have found that this is a place that we can trade your business, we can do tourism, find out a way that we can connect that with the investment that we are going to be propelling through this summit on air connectivity. We don't want to expect as a country that, you know, with our small Air Botswana airline, we can be able to do long haul, go and fetch you from New Orleans, you know, from New York, you know, from the UAE and so forth. But this investment must also consider the kind of partnerships that we need to be able to get people here seamlessly, efficiently, effectively, and with the utmost comfort that we need. This place is in Southern Africa, which globally is an area that is the richest in wildlife resources, natural resources, the forests, our rivers. We are also an arid area, which gives us a lot of land that is a desert land. That also has its features. It has its wildlife, it has its natural, very beautiful landscape, rich cultures, and so forth. So once we talk about the location, and we have access to it, then we are set in terms of coming here to invest. So in terms of, the natural richness or natural wealth of our wildlife, Botswana holds the largest population of elephants in the whole world, 131,000, that's where we stand now. And we have got our forests, we have got this, Okavango Delta and so forth. Now, we're talking about sustainability and saying to invest in a country that is so rich in natural resources, including diamonds for sure, the highest in value and all that. We are talking about considering investment in sustainability, in the preservation and protection of our natural resources, because that's the product that we trade in, and it's a destination where we must be able to say the tourist that emerges, especially from COVID-19, the tourist that is aware, whose mind is tuned to climate change, whose mind is tuned, to conservation, sustainability, they want to visit a place where they know they will be fulfilled in terms of, engaging with a country that has got sustainability at its heart. So investment in conservation, investment in natural resources preservation, especially as for us in Botswana, it's also a beneficiation, program that we do with our natural resources, investing in people, investing in the culture that has preserved all these landscapes for a long time. So we sit in a very opportune, a place where we just have to be boldly, agreeing within ourselves that we will make sure that the investment in the infrastructure, especially air connectivity, should bring us here. Then we'll find a whole world, to invest in once you are here.
That's great, Minister Kareng. I like how that your cooperation with the neighboring countries have started with the sustainability and the environment, that has brought you together with your neighboring countries. That's a great framework to start from as well. Have we got the virtual delegates? Have we got Jamaica and Ras Al Khaimah, or is that not happening? Just
I see a thumbs up from the backstage there, so that's a confirmation.
Okay,
Emma.
great. I just don't see anyone. We'll come back to that, but also sustainability, I know, is a very... Oh, hello. Hi there. So, well, geographically speaking, well,
we're here from Jamaica.
Oh, hello. His Excellency Raki Phillips joins us. So geographically speaking, Raki, you can comment on this, because Ras Al Khaimah, oh, hello, Minister Bartlett. Ras Al Khaimah, like Botswana, is a desert location. It's a desert location, but and also built on sustainability. But we're also, you've done such a great job as a MICE destination. You've come on leaps and bounds, and you've snagged that air connectivity issue. Can you talk us through this and how, geographically speaking, this is a good location, and also building up your MICE reputation? What tips of advice do you have for Botswana?
Thanks, Carmen. It's nice to hear you. Last time we met, we were in person, so I wish we weren't meeting virtually. And to the Honorable Minister, my friend Edmund Bartlett, and everyone in Botswana, I wish I could have been there. My colleague Mo from my team and some of my friends from the UAE are there. And I'm getting some wonderful pictures of how absolutely stunning Botswana is. And it's definitely on my list. It's very impressive to host such a tourism investment summit, because I know the wealth that Botswana offers and the focus from a tourism perspective. Us in Ras Al Khaimah here in the UAE, tourism has been a key driver to innovation and growth. If you look at the UAE, which is an oil-rich country with a tremendous amount of wealth, tourism makes up 12% of the country's GDP, and 750,000 people work within the tourism and hospitality industry. So for us, it's a great way to contribute to the livability and the improvement of the industry. Carmen, you're absolutely right. There's a tremendous amount of comparisons between Ras Al Khaimah as an emirate and Botswana as a country. And from the beautiful pictures that I've seen and the videos that some of my colleagues have shared, it is abundant with resources, wildlife, and all of the elements that are available with the natural beauty. We focus on sustainability. We focus on MICE. But unlike the previous conversations, we are blessed with tremendous connectivity. The UAE is located in the middle of the world. We have accessibility to close to 3 billion people at a 4-hour flight. Dubai International Airport is 45 minutes away from Ras Al Khaimah, and we have our very own Ras Al Khaimah International Airport. But it is important that we continuously promote the destination, highlight the significance of Ras Al Khaimah, why having MICE meetings here, focusing on sustainability and ensuring that we innovate as we move into the future, making sure that Ras Al Khaimah continues to be an important vehicle to drive tourism with our connectivity, with the ease of doing business, and ensuring that we are always front and center.
Thank you so much, Raki. My lady Carmen, as you mentioned, it is time now to talk air connectivity. With your kind allowance, my lady, as moderator, kindly allow us a slight switch in programming. At this moment, Ian Golding will be joining you briefly on stage for a 10-minute high-level, game-changing conversation with the CEO of Fly Dubai. Thank you, my lady.
And apologies for interrupting. We have Gate El Gate on the screen, and wonderful that you could join us. Air Dubai has had quite extraordinary growth since its formation in 2008, absolutely exponential growth. Congratulations on now just confirming your order for 30 new Dreamliner aircraft, which will further enhance your capacity to connect. You're already connected to many African capitals, but not yet to Gaborone. So we hope we can entice you here. And why don't we begin by you telling us something about your vision for the future of Air Dubai and how you see yourself growing, particularly in the African continent.
Well, thank you very much for having me on this show. I would rather be there with you in person to enjoy your beautiful country, but unfortunately, with the program, couldn't make it. But I'm honored to be with you today. Fly Dubai, we actually started. The airline was launched in 2008, and we started flying in 2009. And since then, we carried over 100 million passenger. We currently connect Dubai to over 120 destinations. And yeah, I mean, it's an airline that has sort of discovered itself and grow, just like Dubai evolved over the years. And how Dubai have changed, Fly Dubai is also adopted. And that's why, from our having now the ability to fly the Dreamliner will allow us to go to further places, increasing our reach as an airline. And for that, we are honored by the commitment given to us by our shareholders and the government for us to be able to go to that level. Of course, Africa is always have been an important part of the business potential that we saw. That's why we currently fly to 12 destinations in the continents, and I think there is more to be had. Mombasa should be our new destination in the next weeks, months to come. But we see a greater potential because what we have done in Fly Dubai, connecting Dubai to almost over 75 unconnected destination to Dubai prior to our start is just one example to how we can serve the continent of Africa. And now with the Dreamliner, that gives us the ability to go to even more viable destination in Africa. And when it comes to connecting to Dubai, you are not only connecting to the hub of tourism, commerce in the area, but you also connecting to the biggest international hub of the whole world. You can connect from Dubai to over 220 destinations worldwide. And that's why, along with the fantastic opportunity that the United Arab Emirates offers, not only Dubai, the whole country, but we also offer people the ability to go beyond. And that's always have been part of our selling point in Fly Dubai.
Fantastic. When you connect to a place, have you got evidence of how that leads to multipliers for the domestic tourism and business environment? What is the connection between connecting through you and through other airlines to a new destination and the growth of their tourism and travel and business thereafter?
No, I mean, we have many examples. The one that pops in mind is, for me, Georgia, because prior to flying on Emirates, flying Fly Dubai operating to Georgia, to the United Arab Emirates, they were probably, I would say, 10,000, 12,000 people traveling back and forth. The moment that we started operating, and now we have multiple flights, and probably all the airline in the region actually operate to Tbilisi. I think the number, the last time I looked, of the people traveling, which I don't have with me right now, but it must have been in hundreds of thousands of travelers go to Georgia and come to Dubai. And Georgia was a good example also because it was with the flights, we connected to Dubai. So we had business going up and down both ways. But also there was an effort by government to reduce the visa restriction. For example, in the United Arab Emirates, a huge number of the population are people from different countries. Those people, in order for them to travel freely to and from Dubai, especially on short sectors, because Tbilisi to Dubai is like 3 hours, they need to have a visa. We have lots of people, middle class, from all over the world. So the government in Georgia took an undertaking that allowed everybody who has a visa to the United Arab Emirates, resident visa, can enter Georgia without a visa. And that was a huge estimate. There's a huge jump in traffic because of that. So that, for me, is an example of a Fly Dubai destination that worked, and connectivity created a huge business.
I know that the Minister of Tourism, who's on the stage here, listening very carefully to you, and the Botswana government, would be absolutely delighted if you were to choose Gaborone as a hub in this region, an entry point not only to Botswana, which is a magnificent tourism and travel destination and business destination, but also, of course, very much part of the Southern Africa. What would it take, do you feel, for you to form a decision to make Gaborone a hub?
I think, first of all, we need to build, of course, the knowledge that we have. Gerald Lawless is a very good friend of mine, great ambassador for your country, and always try to build the information that we have. As far as Fly Dubai is concerned now, with the ability of us to flying longer sectors, this becomes even more attractive to us, and we are extremely interested in looking at the prospects of us operating. And actually, one of the motivation for me to speak here was to try to broaden our engagements and try to create a workable solution for the future for us to do more than and be part of the growth of your country.
I know that the Botswana government, and we've heard it this morning already, is deeply committed to the diversification of the economy away from diamonds to other sectors, and clearly I'm sure would be very, very engaged with you on this matter. As you think about your allocation of routes for the 30 Dreamliners, the fact the country has an open skies policy, a very stable economic environment, a very safe place to visit, I'm sure these factors will be part of your consideration going forward. Globally, maybe just to finish, what is your strategy? You've come from nowhere to where you are over a 15-year period. Where do you want to be in 5 years' time?
Well, as we said, we first of all, we're very grateful to be operating out of the most diversified region in the whole world. United Arab Emirates, Dubai is a place where lots of things are going on, many developments, and moreover, the whole region that we are part of, that is the GCC and the greater area. There's a lot of development. We see us continuing to evolve and grow. We currently operate over 80 aircraft fleets. I can see this number continue to grow. And with the Dreamliner, now we have the ability to go to even further places. It gives the airline a lots of ability to reach out to bigger markets, and throughout, I think in the next few years, you will see a huge growth for Fly Dubai, as we take advantage of our previous success and the location, and of course the continuous development in Dubai and the region around us.
Congratulations on all you've achieved. Good luck in the future, and I know the Botswana government would love to see you here in the near future. Thank you very much for your precious time.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Mr. Al-Ghat from Fly Dubai. Well, that was certainly very interesting. There were lots of issues raised there, including the visas, which I hadn't taken into consideration. But let's get back to the ministerial panel. But can we set the financial scene? So how does investment flow through Botswana to the rest of the Africa region? And what vehicles or infrastructure are we talking about? Could you talk me through this? Maybe Mr. Liang from the World Bank, you could discuss, and maybe Minister Kareng as well, and then we'll get back onto sustainability and resilience, because I know we've got Minister Bartlett on the line as well, and Dr. Rafai. So maybe we can hear from the World Bank first. Oh, hello. No. Is it turned on? Sorry, what is it? We've had a moment to think deeply. Okay.
First of all, you hear?
Okay, we're getting the real microphone.
All right. Oh, you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Are you actually here? Okay. All right. No, thanks very much. First of all, let me say I really appreciate the opportunity. From the World Bank's point of view, we are very bullish on the tourism sector in Botswana, similar to my IFC colleagues, both from the public and private sector side. We do believe tourism is an important pillar of Botswana's economy. is 10% of GDP, right? So outside the mining sector, this is really an important pillar. And there's really a lot of potential to make the pillar even larger, even stronger, even taller. That's really our orientation of how we see the tourism sector in Botswana. So what, Carmen, your question is in terms of connectivity. Yes. What are the ways that can make Botswana more connected? My Botswana friends always says, you know, instead of a landlocked country, Botswana is a land-linked country. So that's really the essence, in short, that's the essence of the connectivity basis for tourism. There's a lot of things that can be done, and there's a lot of foundation that's already been laid. If you go around in Botswana, you will see the infrastructure is actually quite good. Especially compared to some of other countries. A lot of historically, a lot of the revenues from the diamonds and other sectors have been invested in infrastructure. Whether you see in Gaborone or outside, you see the roads are decent, fairly well maintained. You see lots of people going drives, including in the Kalahari, right? So there is foundation to be built on in there. Of course, the road infrastructure can be done better. There's a lot of discussion around the railway. That's really making the Southern Africa more connected. But the railway is more for commodities rather than for tourism in many sense. There are lots of discussion on air transportation, as we just heard from Fly Dubai. Indeed, as Honorable Minister said, there's a lot to be done. From the World Bank side, we have an ongoing engagement with Air Botswana to look at different options and to enhance the efficiency, but also a wider connectivity in terms of air links in Botswana. But again, there are lots of opportunities, both internal and external. A lot of the flights, as many of you know, they fly directly from Johannesburg to the north, right? So I think that's good, and that brings tourism, brings the comfort that Honorable Minister was talking about, that tourism can get to some touristy destinations in Botswana. But at the same time, that also means the tourism doesn't go through other parts of the country. Right? Tourism don't go through Gaborone, tourism don't go through other parts of the country. It also has other things to offer. So I think that comes 2 points. One is indeed, I think that's the theme of the summit, the product diversification, right? Can we do other things that attract tourism to spend more time in Botswana, make a few more stops? I think earlier this week, Honorable Minister talked about the tourism outside of the diamond, coming out of the diamond industry. Yes. Would there be opportunities there? I'm sure they are. Can we test a few ideas and make it work? The other point is also the links to the rest of the economy. That's also an important point. I'm sure the Honorable Minister will talk about. It is about local beneficiation, but it's also strike the right balance between attracting FDIs, but also making sure your citizens benefit from the economic opportunities. Let me stop here. Thank you.
Some really good points there raised, Liang. But can we talk about the fiscal and non-fiscal incentives and the different industries that you're targeting as well? I heard on the grapevine that Will Smith was in Botswana earlier this year. Perhaps, you know, I know in Canada there was lots of tax breaks for the film industry to film there. Is this something you're thinking about as well?
Of course, yes. Actually, it's very interesting. One day I woke up and I heard that Will Smith is in the Okavango Delta, obviously filming doing his own filming. And I thought, oh my God, I can't let him go because he's got something for us.
Yes. Did you meet him?
Yes, I did. 6 minutes and we made a deal. Excellent. What I said to him was, we have a lot of young people, our creatives, young graduates who are unemployed. who've got the skills, who have the potential. You know, we have artistic people. We have very rich, creative, you know, talent in our young people. Then I said, can you help us build them so that they can be the level of Hollywood? They can also be, you know, mobilized and supported to make Botswana films. And they can feature in the global films, bringing the Botswana story out there. In our policy, in tourism policy, we determined that we will use our local creatives to market this country. So skilling them in branding, in profiling heritage, culture, in capturing our content and profiling it, branding and selling it, we have got latent potential in our youth. He said, do you have a filming school? I can adopt that school, work with my people, so I can take them, take them to Hollywood. We can come here, film. I said to him, we will give you the best landscapes for you to come and record your music, your film. If you imagine them having a set on top of the Kalahari Sand dunes,
amazing,
and the sunset is just happening, or by the wildlife out there, or by the Chobe River, sunset cruise, you know, and all these things you do, you know, around our stars and stuff like that. He was amazed. He loved this destination. But I said, carry our people, because skills development and training and building the potential of our young people especially, you know, will help us deal with this joblessness, poverty, and lack of incomes and livelihoods for people who actually have. So the investment we're talking about is not just on, you know, infrastructure and physical spaces. You know, we're also talking about investing in the skills and the talents of our young people. We saw them sing. Can they live? Can they do content building through music, like you see, through dance, through poetry, through arts and crafts? You will see there are arts and crafts out there, so we can use it. It's very unique, and I said we have the best, valuable landscape and, you know, artistic talents that our people can tell the story through filming. Then we need the investment in upskilling so that they can be of global quality, Netflix quality.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So that's what we are trying to drive.
Yeah, I think that's a great initiative and such good synergies. And I love that you've brought in the local, the young people coming up through the ranks in the creative industry, the film industry.
We've tested it, if I may say. We developed a film in partnership with DBS and National Geographic. It's called Nkashi. The lives of the people around the Okavango Delta, narrating that life, how they preserved the Okavango Delta through their traditional practices. And the young men there, the old women there, everybody doing the polling and telling the story about how they survived along that, among that, in that area. And this is National Geographic. So I told them, then we need to do the Kalahari, we need to do the Eastern Bloc, Tule Bloc, and then also, you know, urban livelihoods and stuff like that. So we've already tested it. It's beautiful. They narrate the story of the Okavango Delta and their lives in their language. You will read the subtitle, all right? Yeah, okay. So this is just how we want to promote our people, doing it themselves by themselves in the language that they know so much, selling the culture. So investment is how we can actually build on that.
Yes, that's great, investing in people as well. But getting back to the film industry and the celebrities, our virtual guests also have experience with that. The Honourable Minister Bartlett, Jamaica has had its brush with the film industry as well. Is this something that you think is key or could help? Is this also part of the sustainability and resilience that you can add to your bow? Your tourism bow. Is Minister Bartlett there?
Yes,
no?
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Minister
and what
Bartlett.
A pleasure it is
yes.
What a pleasure it is to share with my sister Filda and the ministerial team, as well as the panel of experts. My tourism father, Professor Dr. Rifai, and of course, the team from the ITIC, led of course by Gerald Lawless and Ibrahim, my friend. A wonderful discussion so far. And yes, film and storytelling is a big part of our experience, and Jamaica has as one of the centers for filming in this region. We, because also of the tremendous assets we have in some of our great musicians and, and singers, Bob Marley himself, who is regarded as one of the greatest singers that the world has seen. We produced and gave to the world the reggae music genre, and that has been a huge source of global influence that has put Jamaica on the map internationally. We've had a whole stream of other international stars in this area. But we also have created the base and the background, so to speak, for some of the great films like the James Bond series. The last one, of course, was filmed right here in Jamaica. The first one was also, and the stories were all written right here in Jamaica. So we're not unfamiliar with this. I think the challenge with us is perhaps the challenge that my sister Filda in Botswana will be having, is really to create an architecture that is going to be conducive to encouraging filmmaking by providing the kind of infrastructure as well as the fiscal arrangements to encourage this. Some of the larger countries of the world have a greater capacity to offer more. And, you know, we have to make sure that we can glean as much from it as we can. But at the same time, we have to recognize that there are deficiencies and we're going to have to give a little more in order to get a little more. So by way of indicating to Botswana a way forward is that you're going to have to do a little better than Jamaica. You're going to have to provide a broader and perhaps you know, a more attractive menu of incentives for film production, so that the impact for you is going to be the residual value, you know, of the promotion that the country will get. The fact that, you know, the entire world would then be exposed to your rich flora and fauna, to, more importantly, the value of your people. People are the most important asset that you have, and their creativity and, you know, their innovation. So we have to look at film production in that context, and to regard it as a huge investment that we are making also in marketing and presenting our people and our cultures.
Minister Bartlett, and it also leads on to resilience and sustainability, doesn't it, of the destination. It's one thing to bring in the film industry, but you also have to have that sustainability for your own people and resilience. Minister,
well, I want to speak to resilience.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I want to speak to resilience and sustainability in a different frame, if you will. But you are right that, you know, building capacity among your people to be able to respond, you know, to these new innovation, and to give them a sense of being able to grow and to expand and to achieve a well-being from even non-traditional areas of activity. So when difficulties come, when shocks come, when disruptions come, they have several areas to fall back on, and that their own ability to recover and to thrive afterwards is not constrained by the fact that they are locked into a single lane of economic development. So I'm seeing the film industry as one other of those key areas. I heard my colleague Minister Filda talking about diversification from, let's say, the diamond industry that has dominated the economy over time. It is, in fact, a necessity. But the good thing about tourism is that you don't diversify away from us. You diversify in order to expand and grow tourism, because people travel to fulfill their passions, and they come to your destinations for the various things and the variety of experiences that are provided by involvement in a whole range of economic and social activities. So we're excited about that. and definitely utilizing the values of a film industry, for example, to build sustainability and resilience.
That's great. Thank you, Minister Bartlett. And keeping on sustainability, it's not just the environment sustainability, but you also mentioned social and economic sustainability. And I know, Dr. Rafai, this is something that you're very passionate about. How can this help Botswana?
Thank you very much. Am I heard okay?
Yes.
Okay. The focus here is on sustainability. If you read the title down there, it says accelerating sustainability through product diversity. It's a major thing. As you said, sustainability is not just about the environment. It's much more than that. Social and economic sustainability and political sustainability. So with the story I mentioned in the morning about the park that is outside of Gaborone is an example of social economic sustainability, because the people at the end of the day are what benefit from tourism. If the people don't benefit from tourism, there will be no sustainability, that's for sure. Because sustainability is really the impact of all of that on the people. And political sustainability is also important here, because Botswana, which is a name that needs to be well known all over the world. I think the film industry, as we heard the Minister and Minister Bartlett speak about it, is one way of making sure that the name Botswana becomes a very well-known name. They have a chance now to work on sustainability as they grow, because growth is the name of the game now. That's for sure. Thank you very much.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Another country that's had a brush with celebrity, I would say, is Malawi. Do we have Minister Kamtukile on the line? You know, Malawi had Madonna. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Hi. Were you able to leverage, was there much investment that came out from Madonna's? I know Madonna definitely put Malawi on the map, didn't she?
No, she did. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, no, thank you very much for having me, and thank you so much, Honorable Kering, Minister of Tourism in Botswana, for having us. But I think quickly just to say that, yeah, she did put Malawi on the map, but in terms of investments, it's really very difficult for me to articulate the kind of investment that she has brought to the country, apart from the fact that now people were able to say, where exactly is Malawi? And it brought a lot of interest in people. I remember someone saying that when you ask people around the world if they know Malawi, just say this is a country where Madonna adopted her kids. But she has indeed invested in health. There's a whole wing in Blantyre. I think it's named after her, one of her children, the children that she adopted here in Malawi. It's an amazing place. But also there was a school that she was supposed, a girls' school, I think, that she was supposed to have constructed, but it hasn't been constructed yet. But I've heard a lot of people articulating the fact that it's a very good place, especially for people, children under the age of 5. They get medical care there. They have all the resources and all the equipment that is required. And so we are very grateful for that kind of investment. But I think there's also more room, just not from her, but I think from her association with the country, where we can now leverage that also in terms of tourism, because what that does is that it puts her name synonymously with us. Now she has 3 children from Malawi, and I think she takes it upon herself every 2 years or so to come here so that the children can have an interface and also a connection with the country from where they come. So I think that's it has done as well.
Great. And how about Malawi and Botswana relations? Can we market yourselves as a twin destination per se. I guess this brings back air connectivity as well. Is this something you're talking about?
Should I go first, or the minister from Botswana is coming? Okay, let me start. I think you heard the minister of Botswana, and when she was articulating her challenges, I was smiling here. I was saying that she was saying that it is difficult to come to Botswana. And that's the same situation that we find ourselves in Malawi here. When somebody comes to Malawi, they've really wanted to come here because it's extremely difficult to come here because we don't have direct flights. We have to connect through either Johannesburg or Kenya, Nairobi, or usually it's Ethiopia. But so it's extremely difficult to get here, and the interconnectivity issues are really hard. For me to get to Botswana, I have to pass through South Africa. So it's 2-hour flight to Johannesburg, and then another, I think, 1-hour flight also to Gaborone. But I think it's about destination marketing, where we in the SADC region have decided that we are not going to do predatory marketing that sets apart one destination ahead of another. So we want to elevate Botswana to say, oh, if you want to go to Africa, you have to go to Botswana because it's the best. We don't want to do that as African states, especially as SADC. What we are saying is we want to enhance collaboration over and above issues of competition, where we are leveraging on what is unique in each of those countries. So we know that Botswana is big on landscapes, is big on wildlife. She was talking about over 100,000 of elephants, the best, the largest number of elephants in the world. But Botswana doesn't have Lake Malawi, for example. Botswana doesn't have Mulanje Mountain, for example. But if we come together to say we are marketing as a destination, Botswana and Malawi, we are connecting the private sector in Botswana and the private sector in Malawi, then there's definitely more avenues and more advantages and opportunities for us to leverage on what can be harnessed from the tourism sector as a team rather than as competitors. So we haven't really, because we don't have a memorandum of agreement with the Botswana government, and neither do we have a mission in Botswana, but we are both in SADC. We are African states. We are one. There's always room for us to negotiate and then connect our operators between these two countries so that they can start working together. But I'm happy to say that I am aware that our operators in Botswana have included Malawi as a destination. So somebody comes in, Will Smith comes into Botswana, why can't he go from Botswana to South Africa and then South Africa, Zimbabwe, and then Malawi, so that he has an entire African experience than just experiencing one country?
Very good. I like that.
That's a very good point too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I like that.
Yes, I like that whole Southern Africa itinerary. That's quite important.
Shall I be permitted to just step in for half a second on that? Because I think that's the essence of what this new post-COVID tourism is about, particularly for we, the small destinations of the world. It's about collaboration. It's a word that we've called now co-peting rather than competing. So we find essence in collaborating and sharing and being able to market ourselves together to offer multiple experiences and to enrich the visit of our visitors in our space. So here in the Caribbean, for example, multi-destination tourism is a big item. And we're really moving towards that in a very serious way. It enables solutions to many issues that we have, one of which is connectivity. So that Fly Dubai, for example, with their Dreamliner might find it more effective and efficient to fly into Gaborone and then over to Malawi and to other places in one stop, one set of itinerary. And in that way, the visitors who are coming from far areas like the Middle East and beyond can have multiple experiences for a single trip, and indeed with one price even attached to it. So this is something that we in Jamaica and the Caribbean would want to work with our African brothers and sisters on, particularly those within that southern area of Africa. So together we could, structure a multi-destination program that will build, again, resilience against, particular disruptions that may come at a later point. So I'm very happy to hear that. And I think it is an increasing appreciation on the part of a lot of us who are in the South and who are smaller destinations that are less resourced, but are able to provide great experiences for international tourism. Thank you for allowing me to intervene.
Can I just come in there, moderator, before you give the chance to the minister from Botswana? I wanted just to buttress the point that the speaker from Jamaica, the honourable minister from Jamaica, has just articulated there. Our issue there, we are talking about investments in Botswana. But I think we need to learn from lessons that are coming in now, even from platforms like the African Continental Free Trade Area. My argument there has always been to say if we continuously look at ourselves as individuals, it will be difficult for us to realize anything from that continental free trade area, because then in the next 5 to 10 years, the status quo is still going to be maintained, because each one of us wants to work on their own. So Botswana now has an investment forum, but I would like Botswana now to look at how do we woo in investors as a block. Because there are things that Botswana does very well. There are things that Botswana has that are much, much better than Malawi can ever do. But when Malawi and Botswana and Zimbabwe, or Botswana and Zambia come together, we are a bomb. And so what we're saying is we are continuously saying that Africa needs to start trading with itself. Africa needs to look within itself and say, because if COVID-19 has taught us anything, is the fact that we need to start looking from within, where we have everything that we require, even though we can build our capacities here and there, but we have everything that we require for us to advance to the next level. But if we do those things as individuals, it will be very difficult. So for example, even the investment forum, we get an investor and we tell them, look, this is how we are going to, if you come here, you have an opportunity to do this in Botswana, but you can also do that in Malawi. And then an investor is coming in, not just to look at Botswana as a country, but they're looking at other 3 countries, because that's how it is. When we're looking about green investments, we're talking about not just the environment, yes, but we're also talking about having a return on investment for the people that are bringing in the money. So we need to look outside the box and start thinking about how are we looking at investments? Why must somebody invest in Botswana? They need to invest in Botswana not because of the incentives that are being given by the Botswana government or the private sector in Botswana, but in terms of also what other connectivity or connections or platforms that can be leveraged by your association with Botswana as a country. So I wanted to talk about that. We're saying we need now to reinvent the way we look at investment going forward. I so submit, moderator, and I do apologize for just jumping in there before you gave me a chance. Sorry.
Very valid points. That's excellent. And I do agree. Collaboration has really come out as key these days. And I feel tourists themselves want a more authentic experience, and they're looking to stay longer in a destination, which could really work to your advantage.
Thank you very much. She's raising very important points. And her points are not trying to say what we are doing isn't right, because you are talking Botswana and here we are in Botswana. When we talk about Destination Africa, which is going to be built by the different blocks within the continent, West African bloc, East African bloc, Central, and then Southern Africa. We are building a continent from within, and building from within, we are amplifying what is unique about Botswana, what is unique about the CASA, the 5 countries, what is unique within SADC, and then how can we build other unique destinations. This will bring and build brand Africa. So I don't think she's saying, or she's trying to suggest that it's not it's wrong in a way to talk Botswana. What we are building from is an individual destination with its uniqueness, which we are amplifying now and saying that we will start here because we see something unique here, but we also understand. That's why earlier I talked about the CASA, because within the CASA, you cannot come to Kasane and not do Victoria Falls. That's why I've been talking to all these people, talking about the Victoria Falls. If you are in the Victoria Falls, it's only worth your money to cross into Kasane, Chobe River, boat cruise, and Chobe National Park game drives. So this is already happening. What we are doing here is to try and formulate it in a framework to make it easy for the investors. The tour operators are already doing that. You can't sell Kasane without that. We are also talking about building regional packages where you know, the liberation trail, you know, for Southern Africa, the Mandelas, you know, the Malawi, you know, Samora Machel. Starting from Malawi into South Africa, their route to where they were empowered for the liberation struggle in Tanzania. So they stayed in Botswana. They came from South Africa. They came from Malawi. Mozambique. And there's connection with Malawi actually. And they built this trail. So what we are thinking and talking about as ministers in the Southern African region is to come up with all these, you know, regional trails that will market as consolidated packages. So we're talking Botswana, yes, of course, because there's something about Botswana. But once we start talking about means of investment, then we'll be able to say, but once you are here, this is who we are connected to. These are the packages that are already rolling that connect Botswana with other, you know, regions. It also has to do with sustainability. We are sharing natural resources. I talked about the Chobe River and you know, in the Kazan, in the Kavango Zambezi, you know, Transfrontier Conservation Area. So it helps us also to talk about how we will build, you know, sustainability and resilience of the natural, you know, ecosystem that you are protecting. So we can't talk about us alone, but we start with where we are and what we have, and then it will connect later with others. Thank you.
Yes, that sounds like a wonderful trail, a historical journey that could be done. That's brilliant. And I like brand Southern Africa. I think that would be quite a strong brand. That's wonderful. So let's wrap up this panel discussion. I just want to hear from everyone on the panel. For Botswana to become a hub in Southern Africa, what critical factors should be promoted? So this is just to sum up. Minister Kareng, do you want to start? What do you think?
Thank you for bringing in Fly Dubai. The critical things that must happen as we drive to become a MICE destination is to deal with infrastructure investments. Investments in facilities. We don't have enough hotels that can host such kind of events, multiple, regularly. We struggle to meet up, but we do deliver. Hotels, conferencing facilities, airlines, improve our airports. We are diversifying into the western regions where there's no connectivity in terms of, you know, flights, in terms of railways and stuff like that. So infrastructure investment is key. To make Botswana a hub as well is to take our conservation story, our diamond story, profile it and use it as a tool to attract people. You buy that ring from Louis Vuitton, know that it's traceable to Botswana, want to come here and then do your marriage here, and then you do other activities once you are here. So that connectivity in terms of what we have into tourism is key. So investments in building, profiling, branding is quite critical for us. But most importantly, the infrastructure, skills development as well, where we can do training and upskill our people to be able to run, you know, profitable, yet services that can provide the value of services and the quality. Also, as we package our new tourism development areas and opportunities to be able to package the heritage, the history, and use filming as well, like we have said. You know, all these composite things of building the profile of a destination, branding, packaging, this is what we need to invest in. And of course, also other value chains, you know, because we're talking sustainability, we are talking about, for instance, the diamond industry. It has its uncertainties. Maybe diamond in the next what the market will not be. So right now we want to maximize the revenues from diamonds. That's why when we, you know, discussed and had dialogues with DBS, we made sure that we get, you know, a fair share from that, a fair share. So this fair share, the Diamond Development Fund will utilize now to catalyze other industries, manufacturing, agriculture, and other, you know, activities that will help sustain in, you know, the industry of tourism beyond diamonds, beyond, let's say, climate change affects our spaces, we should be able to give tourists something, you know, in terms of our heritage, something that, you know, cannot be destroyed. So investing now in what will hold, you know, tourism beyond the diamonds and beyond, you know, other fragile, you know, products is what we need to be talking about.
Yes, we have to be forward thinking, don't we?
Yes.
Dr. Rufai, what do you think? What are some of the critical factors for success that need to be promoted here?
One is connectivity, air connectivity. The other one is visas, entry. That should be made easy. And I think Botswana can do that because Botswana is a very, very open country. And Botswana can fulfill these two requirements very easily. Now, Botswana also, the name has to be known. So there must be a campaign. There must be a campaign that would state the name of Botswana. So everybody would talk about it. Connecting with other neighbors is a good idea, but you need to be on your own when you promote yourself. That's very important.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rafai. And what about you, Liang Wang? What do you think are some of the critical factors for success here?
Let me mention 2 points. The first one, I agree with the Honorable Minister, connectivity is critical. I think there's a very important element of hard infrastructure. I'm saying hard includes roads, but also air connectivity and others. But I want to emphasize there's a very important side of softer infrastructure, if I may put it that way. You know, what you can't change is your geography, right? Your natural advantage. But what you can change is the ease of doing business. You know, how can you make it easier for foreign investors to come in, including in the tourism sector, but also hospitality and the hotels and other service in the sectors. I agree with the point of collaboration across the countries, but I also think that should motivate all the countries to try to do better, to make each country a destination for the ease of doing business. I think that's really critical. And the ease of doing business is about a visa. It is about skills. It's also about how the decisions are made by the different ministries, how easy it is for investors to get a decision that can enable them to come to a country to invest. So that's really the softer side of infrastructure is really, really important. Finally, I leave one point about the impact of climate change. I really think for countries like Botswana, when your tourism is so much dependent on the environment, on the nature, how do you adapt to a changing environment? That's really, really important. Here, I don't know if you noticed, the minister is both Minister of Tourism and the Environment.
Yes.
I think that's really a good integration that really shows the tourism and environment really go hand in hand.
Thank you. Do we still have Raki Phillips on the line? I think he had to leave early. I'm not sure if he's still here. No? Okay. Minister Kamtukule, what are your opinions? What are the critical factors? What's on the hit list that Botswana needs to become a hub in southern Africa?
No, thank you so much. I think taking lessons from people that have done it very well. I think Rwanda inclusive, and I think the person that was just holding the floor mentioned the fact that we need to make it deliberate for people to do business with our countries, and Botswana specifically. So the removal of unnecessary bureaucracies, for example. I know that sometimes as government officials, we want to protect our countries and all of that. But I think for me, I would rather we need to be clever. We need to build the capacities of our negotiators. When people are coming to our country, I think the problem comes in because we don't have the skills to negotiate better deals for our countries. And so we operate from a perception of fear. No, we don't want these people to come. Maybe they're going to do this. They're going to give us a raw deal and whatever. I would rather we go in, very cleverly. And then if we put in a clause there that says if you don't like what is happening, then we can come out. But because Botswana is naturally endowed, it has all of these things. But what's the point of just keeping them to themselves when they cannot be developed? So we would rather open up for investors to come in, improve on the easiness of doing business so that people can come, they can do investments, and we negotiate on the contracts. If we don't like something, then we can bail out. But we don't want to tie ourselves to a 20-year agenda, and then we are failing to come out, and then the population is saying, you put us on the line, and then look, we're not leveraging from the resources that we have, and now this country is just ripping us off. So the easiness of doing business is really very critical. But also in terms of product development, this is one of the things that we are struggling with in my country as well, where we're talking about the lake, a beautiful Lake Malawi. It has over 1,000 species of water, the largest number of species of water in the world. But that's not a problem. The issue is, how are we developing that product, selling it as that, So Botswana, we need to come up with means and ways of ensuring that what is unique to us, we are developing it to that level. I was very happy when the minister was talking about their culture, all these villages that are doing all of these things. We need to be to celebrate what is unique to us. I have noted that as African countries, sometimes we consider these things that we have about ourselves as primitive, but we don't know that that's the very thing why, the very reason why people want to visit us. And so we shouldn't be ashamed of what we have, who we are, or where we are coming from. Those are our products. The point there is, how do we develop them to become now products that people can be coming in to come and see those things in our country, so that then we can boost our tourism. The last thing that I want to say is maybe Botswana can also borrow a leaf from Malawi. We are seriously considering the issue of the golden visa, where we want to attract these high-end individuals who want to invest in our country in areas of agriculture, tourism, but also mining. So we have a lot of incentives that were put in place there, telling people that Malawi is open for business. You can come and invest in the tourism sector or in the agriculture sector, in mega farms, or as well as in the mining sector. You can build your house, you can build your hotel, you can do all of these things. So probably maybe that's also one of the ways and means on how we can also attract, because Geneva was built on incentives like these ones, on the golden visa issue, where a lot of celebrities, they have their houses there, they're owning property there, and the country is booming. So we need to look at tourism, placing tourism at the center of the structural transformation of Botswana as a country. When we do that, everybody else, all other sectors are going to support it, and then Botswana is going to be on the path to economic emancipation. And I do wish you all the best. Thank you so very much indeed for having me.
Thank you, Minister. And finally, Minister Bartlett, what's your opinion? What are the critical factors needed for success here?
Thank you very much. And just permit me to really apologize to my sister Filda for not being present in Botswana for this occasion, and also for realizing our dream of establishing the Resilience Center, the Tourism Resilience Center in Botswana at this time, and to indicate that, yes, we will do it. And it's just that my own political situation here didn't allow us to leave at this time, but we will work with you for early January or February date for 2024 to fully inaugurate the Resilience Center. Having said that, I believe that much has been given by all panelists in terms of good guidance, for some young tourism destinations like Botswana, and some of the key touch points that we need to, wrap around as we think through the future. But I wanted to focus a bit, if you will, on human capital development, because I think that is at the heart of our ability to drive experiential tourism. In my case in Jamaica, for example, where we don't have too many natural resources, our resource is the people. And it is building the capacity of people to deliver higher quality service, to enable greater levels of innovation, to be able to be creative, and to convert ideas and knowledge into material things that have value and that can enrich the experiences of visitors. People travel, as I said earlier, to fulfill their passions. And these passions are varied. There are so many. And so our job is to build products around those passion points. So to enable our people to have that knowledge and information, to be able to expand their horizon of creative output, is what's going to enable, first of all, for us to be a destination that is attractive to individuals. Marketing is critical, and much has been said about that. But I think that marketing is not just utilizing, the media streams that exist and to tell our story in other people's language. And I agree totally with the minister from Malawi that the uniqueness of your destination is your strength. And we must not be ashamed of our history and our heritage, because that is our key point that enables the differentiation in a lot of instances between ourselves and other destinations. And finally, I think that the whole matter now of product development from the point of view of investing in attractions is very important to your destinations, because again, as I indicated earlier, people travel to fulfill their passions. Investment in attractions is a huge part of enabling the retention of the tourism dollar in your space. And we know that much of the hardware required for tourism is from external investment in a lot of instances. But what is the key is to enable the supply side of tourism to be owned by us, the people. Our food, the food they eat, the drink, the services, the transportation, all these key elements that enable them to have a great experience in your destination must be owned locally, because that's the essence of the wealth of tourism. And I close by saying then that the small and medium tourism enterprises in your community are the huge drivers of this. They own those experiences. So we need to build their capacity to offer more, to scale up their operation, and also to be able for them to access credit at good prices. Credit at good prices, meaning loans that are, affordable and gives them an opportunity to expand their activities. I'm delighted to share today with you. I hope that the relationship between Botswana and Jamaica and the Caribbean in particular would expand and grow. I look forward to having an MOU properly executed between us, Minister Fielder, and that we will be able to share experiences. And of course, sports is a big part of our partnership. So we in Jamaica will always be able to help in that regard to train the fast runners that you need to have. You're doing well with that, but Jamaica is able to offer a little more. And together, I think we can continue to beat the world. Bless you all, and thank you so much.
There's so many issues were covered there: air connectivity, sustainability, not only environmental sustainability, but economic and social sustainability and resilience. Ease of business is also a key factor, which I think you have the building blocks already. But uniqueness and authenticity, I think that's what travelers really want. And you have that. You have that for sure. So I think you have the human capital investment there. So I think you've got great building blocks for brand Southern Africa. So I wish you well. Thank you so much for having us. And that was a great panel discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.